fridge.
Yeah, I got 70,000 yesterday in personal property reports and tax, so that helped county general.
Let's see, was that last week's or you remember?
Yeah, I believe that was last week. Like I said, she's just about done. She was working on the highway balances. Didn't want to print it off yet. I'll bring it over in a little bit.
I'll try to get over to Jeremy with the insurance, find out when he's gonna come down, so I know I wasn't here last week, I was out of town, but I'll call him, cause he said he'll be down in the middle of April. That way he'll give you all a chance to talk to him. Try to get any questions.
Jason, Joe Miller said meeting here, 7:45.
Yeah, I seen him, we
Oh, you
talked
did?
to that work line. I guess he's heading there today, he must have a meeting
He
today.
had a meeting somewhere, he said.
Yeah, 7:45 today, and
Yeah.
it's over at noon, and we're supposed to meet tomorrow at 1 o'clock.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good deal. How's things been going in your office, Dave?
Good.
Good. Still vote yet?
I voted the other day.
Did you?
Gonna vote again today?
That's how it works. Vote early,
Some-
vote
On
often.
occasion, sure, the election is all depends if Obama's running, isn't it?
Yeah.
Still in trouble, man.
I'll go see if they'll let me vote.
Thank you, Michelle.
Edit.
Anything else I was gonna ask? I guess the insurance was one of my questions.
Yeah.
And
Was Cheryl, was she able to get any questions answered? I know she had some questions.
I think that he did come in and talk to her
Okay.
a little bit, and actually a man from, the medical mutual called me one day last week.
Okay,
I don't know how he knew. He had to have either read the paper or somebody read the paper and seen, that I had said. He goes, well, I don't know what's causing them so much trouble. And I'm like, she has to post every check that you write. Somebody has to post it. Somebody has to reconcile the bank statement.
right,
So that is more work for her on top of the 50 that she already has.
right.
And then, so he went into a big explanation of why this is, and he would come down and go over
Okay.
what we could do differently.
Okay. All right, well, hopefully we'll get down here next few weeks, get those questions. Somehow all my stuff got messed up, I'm just gonna screw up this out. That's all I have.
I laid 2 claims.
Okay. Does Gerald?
I will bring
Big
that
back.
balance sheet down as soon as Cheryl gets it printed out.
Okay.
Did you review the minutes, Jeff?
I did, I'll make a motion to approve.
I second that motion. I don't even know if I read it, but,
You wasn't here, so it don't matter.
huh?
You wasn't here.
Oh, I read it, yeah, that's right, but I read it, I could read the minutes.
You can approve what we did.
Yeah.
You're up, Larry. How are you this morning?
Beautiful day, you don't wanna complain about this.
No.
Oh, it's nice. Anything going on?
Same old, same old.
How about, maybe y'all discussed it last week, I was on vacation, but, the testing, 3 guys get the test, and any response on that?
Got a call Thursday morning from Mr. Turner, and he said he had checked and he got his number. And I called Dennis, and all 3 did test. So now it's a waiting game.
Oh, okay,
It's waiting on IDOT,
okay,
but all 3 did test.
okay, good, good.
So he,
Did they just give you like a pass-fail, or how, what do we get, or is there any?
the way I understand it, and reading the law, and that's about all I know about it, is the county board, will get a letter from the Secretary of Transportation, Ms. Ann Snyder, and she will give you a list of these individuals
That are qualified.
are approved, are qualified or approved to be county engineer, and you take from that list, it's up to the county board, then the way I understand it is, there's a resolution, I've got
Pick
that.
one.
You pick one and submit, and that's it.
Okay.
There is no further approval. Once they give you that letter, that's their final approval. So you pick from one of those,
So they're all approved by them, and then.
then it's up to the county board to pick which one you want.
Yep.
And submit that name by resolution to, District Office of Carbondale. And that's it. It's done.
Out on, the guy was asking me about out on Mill Springs Road, almost to the church. There's been some work done, are you guys done out there, or do you know? Something about added some rock and it's like one lane now, or? It said something about that, I don't know if you dress the sides up, or I'm not positive, but.
That would replace the pipe up there by Ricky Gower. Had some washers on it, done some digging. I just have to look at it.
Yeah.
I'm not aware of anything out of the ordinary.
Is that blacktop up there, or gravel, or what is it?
Oh, you're down to the Mill Springs itself, that is blacktop. And it's just a one-lane road. Now, if we had a washout on the side, and that's a kind of a steep hill, and we could have. And if we had to put some rock in, then when water chip time, we'll have to go back and reseed it, because they did. There was a group. Before we put the other lane, they had it full of chip down to the creek.
Yeah,
It's our
that's
road.
kind of the way it is. Oh, yeah, can't make everybody
Four
happy, but,
wheelers.
all right, well, I'll take a gander at it.
I'll take a look at it.
Oh, I was gonna tell you, if you need a road closed sign, there's one there on Belgrade Road, right as you turn down Belgrade Road. I'm supposing it's one of your signs, just laying on the right side of, just off the road on the right side.
Okay, it may not be, but I can get it. Right as you turn off?
Yeah, within less than 100,
Okay.
less than 50 yards.
Been there a long time or not?
Well, last few times I've been, yeah, it's been there for several
I'm
months.
just wondering if it wasn't from the flood or something.
Somebody may have picked it up
Threw it out
and
there.
deposited it.
Yeah,
Got home and mom and dad told me you're not keeping it.
well, they had a fire in a corner house in my block, and they were cleaning it out, and I walked by and looked in the trash can, and you wouldn't believe all the road signs they collect. People.
See, unless you are an employee of the highway authority, it is illegal to have any kind of traffic sign in your possession, and it's finable. And I've taken sheriff deputy to a number of houses over the years, knock on the door, you got a sign on your back porch? Mama, oh, we do. We went to one job, son had brought home a stop sign, had it posted on the back porch, and I don't even, she said she didn't know it was there, but I kind of find that hard to believe, but she went and got it and gave it to us.
She knew exactly where it was, huh?
You got a stop sign on your back porch, it's illegal,
Well, this is
Debbie,
like,
standing there, it's illegal to have it in your possession. Well, my son found that somewhere,
You on a sign.
well, this is laying down, it may be on private property, I think owned by the farmers.
Okay. I may go by there on the way home, just pick it up.
Yeah, I threw it there.
And you mean farmer by name, not
Yes.
farmer by profession?
It shows you how often I drive by there. I don't even sense that.
Like, what is
There's
that
John
orange,
Gibby
or
Drive.
that paint you put on those stumps?
That's dye.
Just so somebody, they'll see them, won't hit them with a mower? or-
No, that is chemical stump killer.
Okay.
with dye in it so that you can tell where you've sprayed and what one you got.
Does that keep sprouts from coming out, or?
Well, that's what we're hoping for.
Okay. There's some trees.
You notice on the big stumps, you just spray the sapling.
Yeah,
And you're hoping that that will kill the stump and keep sprouts from resprouting. But you put a dye in the chemical, you do it on chemical, or you don't.
I don't, but, I mean,
It's
possible.
done all the time, yeah.
It could be done.
It's just a dye, a purple dye that you put in your chemical spray so you can tell where you've been. They use foam a lot, but I've seen where they even would put dye in the foam, I've seen that, so. River Ag use it, cause that's where we usually buy it.
well, it washed off. The dye did, but I mean, you know that,
You can tell when you're out there.
sure.
Yeah, it will
Understand.
eventually wash off,
Yeah.
yeah. But you can tell where you sprayed
Mhm.
and know that, oh, I got that stump already, cause,
Yeah.
and you gotta get your stump when it's fresh cut too, you can't let it, in weather like this, you can't let it sit for more than an hour or so, cause it's crushed over and you're wasting your chemical. If it sets for more than an hour or so and gets dry,
Yeah,
you take a
you
saw.
gotta do it
and
immediately then.
you've gotta do it pretty quick.
Yeah.
And we have done that, you know, this is iffy, we take a saw and kind of scuff up and get fresh sapwood.
Yeah. Well, you got the pickup yet?
I'm gonna go down and check on it a little bit.
I know. Always something to do, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. And I still behind.
Oh,
If I get any further behind, I'll catch myself.
like your head.
Just don't get lapped, Larry.
That's what I'm saying, if I get any further behind, I'm gonna lap myself and catch myself. Nah, it ain't that bad, but I just ain't had time to check. I called last week and John was gonna call me back and he never did, so I'll go down and bug him. We'll get it here.
You've been hauling a lot of rock, stockpiling.
We've been stockpiling some, yeah, we put some on the road and had to replenish our stockpile. And yeah, we're getting, hauling in ships, getting ready for
Yeah.
all in ship. So keep our, mostly this tractor trailer.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's slower that way, but that's the most efficient way to get your rock in is
Yeah.
with that truck. You can just haul about 2 loads that way for the same amount of fuel and
Yeah,
wear and tear as you can with the tandems.
yeah,
We use tandem some, but we try to do most of it with the tractor trailer.
yeah.
Thank you.
All righty,
Thanks a lot, Larry.
have a good one.
Rather than mail it, we were working on a workshop, and for those of you that may not know, I'm Caroline Jones with Metro Financial Group, just the block up here. And we were having a workshop on April 30th from 6 to 7:15 in the basement of the Metropolis Library, and it's about healthcare reform. There's so many changes coming about in 2014 is when the bulk of the changes are beginning. So it's just an informational meeting. It's not a selling meeting. It's just something we're doing and inviting different employers throughout our community. And outside of our community, we're going to branch out a little bit to hear what these healthcare regulations are and what do you need to do to kind of be thinking about preparing for them.
Sure.
So again, it's just an informational meeting. On a second note, I know that Karen Arnold in the past had serviced some of the county's employee benefits, and I'm not sure if she still was. She worked with our office for many years, but we, a few years ago, I guess 5 or 6 now, had sold that portion of our business along with the property and casualty to Maverick Insurance, which now operates by the name Niece Lukens. Karen's always been a dear friend of ours, and while our agency works the employee benefits area like she did, we never worked Metropolis because those were accounts she had and we were not going to compete against her. And we let her maintain those accounts, and we've worked outside of the Metropolis area. I'm not sure if you're aware, I'm sure you probably are, that Karen is no longer with them as of the first of the year, and that is nothing that Karen has done. That was not a decision she made. She is excellent at servicing her accounts. She's excellent with employees and enrollments, and she was very good at her job. She'll be a great employee for somebody. I know she's actively looking for work. She's no longer with them as of the first of the year, and to my knowledge, they're servicing accounts that she had out of their home office in Louisville, Kentucky, which there's still a couple of people left at the agency. Only one of them is life and health licensed, but she's more the manager of the property and casualty agency, and she's not worked that area in quite some time, and she does not plan to work that area. To my knowledge, it's Maverick or now Niece Lucan's home office in Louisville that is going to service employee benefit accounts. So we, and I'll be glad to mail you all a letter detailing all of this as well. But we didn't know if Karen still had some business with the county. I know she might have had some of the supplemental, and she may not anymore.
I don't think she services it. There's some supplemental accounts that people have, but I don't know that she is directly involved in them. Juanita would be able to tell you more in the office.
Okay.
I don't believe so. I know we only have 2 or 3, and then somebody called here last week. Juanita talked to them. Some people were interested in supplementary vision and dental.
Gotcha.
And they sent brochures down, and I'm thinking it may be the same company that Karen had written.
Aflac, probably.
Ah,
Or
she didn't have
Allstate
anything to do with
Workplace.
Aflac, I don't believe.
Allstate Workplace Division.
It may be. Juanita's the person to ask about that,
Okay.
because it just, because I really don't know. It just, I know that, you know, that they pay the full amount of the premium. It's just deducted
Right,
pre-tax.
Right, correct. Okay, well, that's all that we were following up. If you needed a local contact or still wanted a local person to service, we'd be
If you
glad
could
to do
speak
that.
with
We're doing that with
Juanita
some of
over in
our
my
accounts.
office, and
Okay,
explain, because we have very few that take advantage of it, but there may
Sure.
still be a few of them floating around.
right, okay. Well, I didn't know what Karen still had, so that's why we were just following up with, and people we knew she had worked with, that, you know, we would be a local representative if
I
they so
don't believe
desired.
Karen services any of them at this
Okay.
point.
That's fine, but I will check with her
Mhm.
if you like and follow up.
And then again, I could be wrong.
Sure, that's fine. Okay, well, that was just my purpose of coming. I wanted to tell you about the workshop that we were hosting on healthcare reform, because there are a lot of changes coming up and things that employers will need to do to prepare for those. It's someone from Health Alliance who actually works with the state of Illinois' plan, and they're a very large in the state of Illinois Health Alliance. Some of their people who know the regulations and the laws and what are gonna have to take place January 1 that is going to be presenting at the workshop.
Who do you suggest attends your workshop?
Well, I didn't know if it's something that would be for the commissioners or more maybe if it's Juanita, whoever your HR liaison is.
Well,
You
she
know,
does
that would
with
kinda be
holdings.
it.
I mean, really, the commissioners probably need to attend. I mean, as far as, because, I mean, when it comes down, we just say, well, you gotta do this, this, and this.
Right.
But knowing what's coming down, I mean, I had no clue. I mean, you hear
That's-
bits and pieces,
Mm-hmm.
and whether it's accurate or not, I don't know.
Yes, and that's the purpose of this workshop, because they know what is coming down and they're gonna explain some of the information and be there to answer any questions
And
employers
how it
may have.
affects our health insurance status, and
Mhm. There's a lot of changes coming January 1. I don't know if they'll be good or bad, but it is what it is, so we gotta figure it out.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Well, you're welcome. Thanks for letting me interrupt you for a few
Oh, you're
minutes.
fine.
Back
Thanks
anytime.
for coming in.
All right.
We'll see you Saturday.
Oh, yes.
If we're all equally broke.
Not you, John. Don't go this way. How's everybody doing today?
Good, how are you?
Good. Tired?
Tired?
Had a late night?
Yeah, we had a house fire last night. I got in about midnight
Where's this at?
on Old Marion Road.
Was you able to save it, or?
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Yeah, we did. It's got some damage to it, but it's repairable.
Will the smoke detectors catch it early and they give you a call, or?
When anybody home, I don't know if the neighbor saw it or what, they got, paged us out. They got there, was smoke, there was fire after coming through a window when we got there, then knocked it down pretty quick. So, there's smoke and heat damage, but, I mean, nothing that can be fixed.
They're very fortunate that someone's seen it and called it in.
Yeah. nobody's hurt, I guess that's the main thing.
Yeah. How's things going with the sheriff's department?
Good, I think we got 47 in right now. Still,
Jay,
still
you
over
said,
capacity.
you said fire was beside, Genie Force?
Oh, yeah, I believe that's right. There's 3 houses right there, Old Marion and,
Well, that Reynolds will be,
the middle one's a White House right in the middle, in between the
They're at Upper Salem or Upper Salem and Old Marion.
Yes.
Well, those rather new houses.
yeah,
I don't have
Well,
any idea how
Frank-
it got going.
Or be on the right side going north? Okay. Yeah, that is Fourth one, I believe.
well,
Don't they
that
all
girl,
live in
that
there?
girl's a fourth one, she's married to Reynolds, yeah.
Oh. JD, I got a question.
I'll try to have an answer.
Okay. If you get stopped, and you're on prescription drugs, and, you know, you're not actually probably supposed to be driving, now, is that against the law? Or how does
Can
that-
be, if you're impaired.
Okay.
If you're impaired, if it's affecting your driving, yeah.
Well, that's what I think.
Yeah. Even if they're prescribed, because most of the time it'll say on there, you know, don't operate.
It'll have a
vehicle.
restriction.
Yeah, don't operate a vehicle if you're taking this medication.
Gerald, do you need to ride home after the meeting?
I might, it'll get any worse. I know that one boy, hit a bridge out there, in that new Ford pickup,
Oh, yeah.
and, I think that's what he was, and,
Is that the one I read about in the paper?
yeah, his brother works for him.
Wow. He thought he would get out of it,
Oh, yeah.
and I thought, well, you know, I don't know.
I mean, that's not, of course, that's not up to us to decide
Right.
that, that's the next floor up to
Right.
make that decision, but yeah, it's, you can be arrested for it.
And it was faulty, you know.
Yeah.
It was, or was it his eyes?
Well, I don't know.
A
He said
combination
it's
of
faulty.
everything, yeah.
Is it foggy to everybody else?
What's the deal with that being stapled there, do you know?
Past week, didn't put them together, Ted said, I'd be happy to, so,
There it is, huh?
yeah, there it is.
I'm at-
Sandy might have better explanation. on why it's
I'm
in
just
it.
curious, I thought maybe I was supposed to be looking for something on here in particular. Well, if it's, let's see. If 139 is 30 days, there may be a stack of it in here, I'll look for it when I.
Yeah, I couldn't,
Love county.
can't answer
Big
much
county.
questions on the claims, not today anyway. This was short notice, Ted just asked me to run.
Here it is.
He had to be at his school this
Dang.
morning for a,
We're all
thing with
around
some
all the
kids,
big,
that's where he
big
was at.
counties. I
I
think it has
all
to be
weird on the same
population,
business.
yeah.
Yeah, there's two in that one.
On the drug activity still.
Everything, it
Yeah.
seems like. But we're always busy.
I was walking a dog the other night and watched a couple of kids jump into a pickup truck and wreck into it.
Yeah, I was listening to some of that scanner.
Oh, jeez.
Here,
Louise.
Right in front of you?
Well, I was a block away. They had to know I was there though, because they walked by the truck and you could see them talking, and one run back and jumped in the truck. And
Yeah,
I couldn't see if they got anything out, and I went back and called the police.
I kinda listened to it a little bit, and they chased them around down here a little bit. I don't know that they
But
were
I could tell,
caught.
you could tell they were up to no good, but they walked by 3 other vehicles, and I said, and after they walked by, I got to look at them, the dog and I, it was Brenda's dog, and we stopped and just sit there and stared at him, and you could, they had to see me. If they didn't, but boy, they jumped in, jumped out, and went to cut down the alley, and so.
I love those foot chases.
It make you feel young, doesn't it?
Old for that,
Well, I knew I wasn't gonna catch him.
but Send the dog.
Well, if I thought the dog would come back after it did its business, I would. Cause it's had that kind of training, but I don't know the command.
I looked at the wrong guy.
This girl is always going to the daggone doctor.
I'll tell you what they did do Friday night, city police come down, saw a bright flashlight in
Any idea what she's in for? Is it
my
something
living
serious?
room.
Yeah.
They were patrolling the neighborhood with spotlights.
She was just in court yesterday.
It's fine with me, because my house has been vandalized,
It
and
doesn't matter, I mean, I'm tired of seeing.
broke into that yellow two-story house.
Ridiculous.
Well, wait,
I'm just gonna wait and see, Cheryl has made a table.
Yeah,
Dana, we got a lot of interest on this drag race now, when's this gonna come back?
I don't know, whenever y'all get the road.
Out here?
Well, here's a guy to talk to about it, one of them.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah, these girls are wanting to race some cars. We got
Mustang
Ford
versus
Chevy.
Camaro.
We need to do that in Kentucky.
We're doing it right up the street here.
We're selling admission T-shirts.
And then you need to talk to the city police.
You don't wanna
I
be
don't
involved?
witness, I
What
don't
did
wanna be
you call
in that.
Race for revenue.
Raise for revenue.
It's the race for
Race for
revenue.
revenue. Oh,
You get interested, you heard the revenue word.
Tell me
Maybe we
she
can throw a
started
charger in
revenue.
there. Mix it up a little bit.
Yeah. Say you'd win.
Now, Mustang people and the Camaro people are gonna disagree with you.
Well, we got a six.
We're only one way to settle it, isn't it?
Yeah, line them up.
Staying pretty busy out on the interstate. Seems like I read the paper, he got I think a person with marijuana and some other stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, they've actually made 2 or 3 stops last week or two that had some drugs in the car.
Just lucky, I mean, you don't really ever know, do you?
That he got the other day was, I came in the office, and as soon as I hit the lobby, I could smell it in the office.
Nope.
That bad.
Yeah, it was really strong.
Just on his clothes or something?
No, he had it was a little container, and it was sitting back in the table in the squad room, but you could smell it all the way out in the lobby.
Okay.
It was really strong, yeah.
Bet some of those inmates were.
Yeah, hey.
Come on in here, huh?
Is that going to impound?
Yeah. I mean, there really-
Need some
there
help
wasn't-
in that evidence
it was-
closet?
It was misdemeanor weight, but I mean, it was, he told me he thought, when he walked up to the car, he thought he had a load.
Yeah.
He really thought he had a load, but all he had was just a little container with some, it was really strong.
I mean, that driver probably knew that he was gonna get busted.
Oh, he said they had the windows open and everything, trying to.
Air out, huh?
Yeah.
Well, that car had to have probable cause, was they speeding?
Yeah, they were speeding.
Well, how dumb do you have to be flying down the road, drawing attention to yourself with drugs?
Well, Jeff, how long ago was it
Happens all the
that
time.
those 2 cars were doing 90 with 2-way radios and had $50,000 worth of cash in the trunk, and nobody knew where that came from?
Yeah,
But,
we like those guys.
yeah,
That's,
50 grand, didn't know where it come from.
that's not mine.
Was there 2 guys in that car?
The one he stopped the other day?
Yeah.
That was female, and I believe she had a little with her. Headed for St. Louis, headed back to St. Louis, that's where they're from.
So what do the kid, somebody has to come and get it?
They transported her and the little one back into the office and towed the car. She wasn't DUI, she hadn't been smoking it, she just had it in there.
Oh, okay.
So, he wrote her, or arrested her for possession. She posted bond a few hours later.
Thank God.
Yeah. I don't know if we'll
So
ever
she's
see
got
her
a court
again.
date again?
She's got a court date, so she'll show up in St. Louis.
Is her bond pretty high? I mean,
No, misdemeanor, it's preset, like 150 on Class A miss.
there's nothing, it's just state law.
Preset. If, of course, if you can get her arrested, if you can find paraphernalia, that's a $750 fine,
Mhm.
no matter what, so I don't know what the fine will be on just possession.
Of course, she had to pay to get her car out in the town. Probably not cheap there. That's probably more than what the bond is.
Now, pretty close. Depending on who told you.
I know there was one day, the guy in Tenster, and then he put the screws in. It was like $400.
And to tow the car?
And blame us for it.
Yeah, that was our fault.
Remember that from Griffith?
Yeah, I do.
Very well,
I
huh?
remember that.
Man alive. anything else?
When's your seasons?
Mine starts Saturday.
Your what? Oh,
Oh, you thought it was something important.
What is important?
It is?
it is. Shoot them all.
Mine starts Saturday, then I got, fourth season starts 25th. Let's see.
I saw a bunch of birds out. It's in that flats just past beaches, back toward the river. You know, we just
Oh, yeah.
go down that flats, look back there in the corner, and I mean, they're just all over the place. Some,
Yeah.
well, a lot bigger than others.
They're showing off lately, aren't they?
I saw some finally down here below Linwood the other day, and once that water fell out, I guess, and I was trying to get out there and cornfield a little bit. They're usually out there a bunch, but that water's been, kept them run out for now.
You ever watch that show Duck Dynasty?
Yeah, I'm afraid I do from
Yeah.
time to time. yeah.
That's a funny show, my kids love it. Old Si, he cracks me up. I read in the newspaper, they was over Graves County
Uh-huh.
last week,
Yeah.
had a fundraiser for some organization.
That out on Facebook, the Diane had,
Need you just a minute?
there was a picture of a bear, and I guess he did some barbecuing for them.
Oh, yeah.
All those, he got them all together in a picture. Pretty neat.
I figured that's what you was gonna pull out. A big old book. huh?
Yep. A few months back, I think it was requested of my office to review the liquor control ordinance for the county and to come up with a proposed new draft of an ordinance. Our prior ordinance was from 1989. And so there were some things that had changed in the law, of course, since then, and some areas that were not covered in our other ordinance that have been covered by other counties. And so I looked at everything, and I've drafted a proposed ordinance, not for adoption today, just to pass around for review, actually, let me pass that one there. It's, as you can tell, pretty thick. I think it's 16, there's an extra page at the end, but it's blank, so it's 16 pages or so. There are a few things that I will, obviously you'll want to read the entire ordinance and see if there's anything that you think should be changed. But there are about, I have 5 areas that probably will require your special attention that you'll want to consider. The first one, we have a, and I believe this is still our fee schedule that's in the prior ordinance.
Yes, it is.
Each license has its own fee that comes with applying and obtaining the license. I would ask each of you the board would have to make a decision on what the fee should be, whether it should be increased, remain the same, decreased, what you feel is appropriate. That section starts there's a lot of language about the application process, who's prohibited from having a license, investigations of applicants, and then the actual licenses section starts on page 10. And that spells out, there are 5 classifications of of license, A through E. There is also included a Class F license in this draft, which is just a draft, for current licensees that have an A through E to obtain a special permit for an event. So if some organization, a club, wanted to have an event off-site, they could apply for a special license to have an off-site event. I think most of that would apply to clubs. I guess it could be possible for other entities to apply for that. But that is not anything that's mandated by the law or required. That can be removed, it can be limited. So that would be, in addition to the amount of the license fee, that would be another thing to consider is whether that is a good idea or not, a special use permit. The other item is, as you go through there, there's listed the A license, B license, C license, and each of them have the number that it's limited to, such as Class A is limited to 3, Class B is 2, Class C is 2. That would be up to you as well to determine the number of licenses that are to be authorized in each classification. And then the last provision would be on, that you want to pay special attention to, or special discussion, I assume in, is page 14. Which is hours of business, Article 10, which is the exact language in our well, I can see right now there's a typo that needs to be corrected. That should read, our language right now says, no alcoholic beverages shall be sold by the holder of a license issued under this ordinance between the hours of 12 midnight and 6 a.m. It should say Tuesdays through Saturdays. So that where it says Sundays through Saturdays, that needs to be stricken. Just so it reads as our current ordinance does, Tuesday through Saturdays, or between the hours of 12 midnight Saturdays and 6 a.m. Mondays. That would be the language of our current ordinance. Of course, that can be broadened to limit it anymore, would require a special finding by the board to say that those hours need to be reduced. To broaden them would just require the action of the board. So if you wanted to allow facilities to be open later or earlier in the morning, you could allow that. Of course, the issue that often comes up in this discussion is whether alcohol sales on Sundays will be allowed, and that would be something to consider in this ordinance as well.
What about Monday? Am I reading it wrong, Pastor? Monday?
It would be, this just shows when they cannot sell it.
But is it Tuesday through Saturday?
It starts at 12 midnight on Tuesday, which actually is the beginning of Tuesday. So it'll be Monday beginning at 6 a.m. to midnight, which would be actually Tuesday. And then
A break for 6 hours.
right. So basically, it's between midnight and 6 every day, except there's no sale at all on Sundays, is what that means.
Okay. Oh, I see Monday now, yeah.
Oh, the word, yeah,
So-
at the end, there it says it.
So there'll be no sales on Sunday?
This is the way our current ordinance reads. I didn't change that or modify it. I just put our language in. Of course, we know there's typographical error, but taking that out, that reads the way our current ordinance does.
You were talking about the special permit, we've had some of those, special events.
Right.
Out in the country mostly. I just know of two, I think.
And we passed, if I recall correctly, there was an ordinance passed to deal with gatherings of a certain size where they had to get a permit just for the gathering itself.
Yeah.
And this permit would
Weekend or
involve, correct, this permit would involve the sale of alcohol at those events, so they'd have to get a special permit. And it would only be allowed, if this were adopted in its form as it's written, would only be allowed by those who currently have a county liquor license.
Well, no, but, yeah, I know before, I think that was a Curly boy that had one out there on
Right.
Midway Road, I think.
I think that's right.
But now he wouldn't be able to get one now because he doesn't have a license. Is that correct?
That's right.
Okay.
Now, in preparing this, I pulled from several sources, and a lot of them were the same. A lot of the ordinances that I drew from, sources I drew from were the same. that this special use permit was one thing that was, something that was unique and that we didn't have it in our ordinance, and I wanted to put that language before you to at least see if you thought that was something worthwhile. Everything in this ordinance that's discretionary is obviously within your discretion as a board to decide whether you want it in there or not. Some things are required by law we can't change, like I believe the applicant requirements basically are pulled right from the statute. So they, in order to apply this, they have to meet those requirements by law, so we can't modify those, but the fee for the license, the number and type of license, the hours of operation, those are things completely within your discretion as long as they meet the requirements of the law.
Chairman still the commissioner.
Yes.
It says local liquor control commissioner, which would be the chairman.
Correct. I think that's defined, or explained in here under, beginning on page 3.
Okay. Y'all have to read through that.
In fact, in the first section where it talks about, where it discusses the legal requirements, application process, most of that is just completely pulled from the statute. And a lot of that is included in an ordinance, that way the public can understand what they're required to do without having to pull our ordinance and then pull the statute and try to figure out what their requirements are.
Any other issues that we need to look at?
Those are, I would ask you to read the whole thing. There may be some things that you have a question about that I haven't raised, but I think the main issues are the ones I laid out, is the types of licenses, the number that'll be authorized.
John, have you ever drank out of a hog's head?
Maybe. I just didn't know it. What is that?
Says flask, jug, can, cask, barrel keg, hog, or other receptacle.
Could be all of the above.
Well, it may be. That's a new one on me.
What is the current, city of Metropolis liquor sales for Sundays? How is it?
I have not read their ordinance,
Yeah.
that specific language in the ordinance, but my understanding is that it's restaurants only, and I think it's
Served
by
with
the
food.
drink, served with food, yeah.
So noon till 6 PM or not for sure?
I believe that's right.
Wasn't sure with yours. We'll definitely read it and see what changes we need to make.
And then the other thing I wanted to bring up while I was here, I had passed around a draft of the burning ordinance. I didn't know if there were any questions or thoughts on that order. I did not put it on the agenda today for passage, because I wanted to come back before that to see if there were any questions.
What was the fine? Was it $500?
The fine is,
I just wanna make sure it's good and hefty for a person that way.
it would be a Class C misdemeanor, which would be a fine up to $1,500. But it would be set by the court or by agreement if there was a resolution reached. So it could be, so let's say $50, could be as high as,
You can't put a minimum, like,
we can, we sure can. We can put, other ordinances put a first violation would be X number of dollars, second, and just kind of a graduating scale.
what do y'all think on that?
What'd you ask, Justin?
What the fine amount would be, he said it could be
No,
up to,
burning, did you say?
yeah, the burn ban, if we could put a bottom on that, so,
What material are we talking about?
I don't.
Trash?
Well, the way it's defined now,
Rubbish.
no person shall cause or allow the open burning of refuse, conduct any salvage operation by open burning, or cause or allow the burning of any refuse. Now, refuse is defined as waste materials such as but not limited to lumber, furniture, vehicle tires, garbage, construction or demolition residue, petroleum products, etc. And these definitions are pulled from the Illinois EPA regulations.
But that wouldn't include traits, like out on the farm or something
Right.
like that.
In fact, it says, the ordinance shall not limit the burning of landscape waste upon the premises where it is produced or at sites provided and supervised by any unit of local government. Nothing in this ordinance shall prohibit the burning of landscape waste for agricultural purposes, habitat management, or firefighter training.
Okay.
And then the definition of landscape waste includes grass, shrubs, leaves, tree limbs, and other materials accumulated as a result. And goes on with the definition.
I have got a lot of calls on that. Have you?
I've got a few, you know, from, their highway head towards Brookport.
Yeah.
That right through there are some houses that some burning goes on, they just burn their yard.
There was a guy burning at shingles up there. I think that's stopped now.
I guess, you know, what
That's
has-
already illegal under state law, correct?
Right, it's
Yeah,
just,
yeah.
the enforcement is difficult
Yeah.
because,
By the time you get a call, it's all over.
but by adopting it locally, it will just ease and ability to enforce that requirement.
What I was asking Patrick, if we could put them at least a minimum,
I think,
You know,
some kind of
$500
scales or something, yeah.
that way it's,
Have you got your copy of that?
yeah, let me see.
I was reading the last paragraph, or second to last. Any person who shall violate the terms of this ordinance shall be punished as in the case of a Class C misdemeanor as set forth in the Illinois Code of Corrections. For purposes of this ordinance, a Class C misdemeanor is punishable as provided by Illinois Unified Code Corrections, and it gives the code numbers as those sections presently provide, and as they may be hereafter amended. And I'm wondering, do we need to leave that in, that last in there, what I've got underlined? And as they may be hereafter amended, what's your opinion on that?
The reason that, go ahead.
Is there a chance that they can change it and their change would be something that the board don't approve of? That's what.
If they change it and the board doesn't approve it, we can always amend our ordinance.
Okay.
That's one thing we can do. Most penalties under the law don't get any easier, they only get stiffer. The punishment for a Class C misdemeanor has been the same for a long period of time, and the punishment is up to 30 days in jail, a fine of up to $1,500. It's also eligible for probation of 2 years, up to 2 years, and you can get combinations of those. You get some probation time, some fine, some jail time. But it could be that, you know, I would see if it's gonna be changed by the legislature. I would guess that the punishment's only stiffer, not more lenient.
Under that old ordinance, I think if a neighbor complained, I mean, it was okay to do it unless someone complained. Is that correct?
We had,
Maybe blowing in the windows in the spring or something, you know, and they couldn't sleep or something.
right, we had a nuisance ordinance that didn't specifically deal with burning, but would probably cover a situation where there was a burning that caused a health issue.
Yeah.
And that was more difficult to enforce because it wasn't explicit about what was prohibited. So, yeah, you would need a complaint under the nuisance ordinance
Yeah.
to initiate.
So basically, all persons under this one will be able to burn is yard waste.
Correct.
Okay, unless you're a farmer or whatever, you
Right.
can still burn trees
Yes.
or brush or something.
How about like if, they burn and the trash that burns blows over to their yard, that's, I guess, kinda included in this as well.
Yes, are you asking if they were burning their yard waste and
Yeah.
it blew over? That could be a nuisance then, which would be covered by the nuisance ordinance.
Okay. Well, I guess if you can just change maybe that, would it be a minimum charge?
Okay, what do you want it to be?
I don't know, do you all think $500 is
I think
fair
so,
enough?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Then hopefully we can vote on it,
Now, a person who would pay, just so you're aware, a person pays a $500 fine would probably owe in the neighborhood of $1,000. because they're court costs, just so you're aware.
Well, Jason, do you think that should be warned first, or do you think this, we've already warned, we'll put this in the paper or something?
I don't know, what do you think about that?
Well, I think you should let it be known that this is the requirement.
Put in the paper or something, or?
Right, and you can publish it.
Okay. Yes, I think that might be.
I'm sure deputy might give him discretion the first time, go out there and say,
Yeah.
I don't know, depends on how it is.
Or, you know, if I put it in the paper, that's probably a warning, you know.
Anything else? I got a
What do you
question.
think about that, Chase?
I think that sounds reasonable, just put it.
I mean, not the whole thing, but, you know, just like the burning.
Yeah.
Now, of course, anybody who gets an ordinance violation is able to have a trial, and it'll be up to a judge to determine if they violated it. So it's not automatic.
Yeah. There, there's a lot of people in the county that burn trash. So they'll have to take that or get a receptacle
Right.
and have the truck come by and pick it up.
Correct. I guess my only concern with $500 as a minimum fine is it may be an amount that makes the ordinance difficult to enforce.
So somebody may not be able to pay it, you know.
So what would you suggest then? Let's lower it?
Well,
First offense or something.
there's many ways you can go about it. You can set the fine lower for a first offense. You can graduate up to a $500 fine. You know, every person is unique and different. There may be people burning in the county who, because of financial resources, that's the way they deal with their trash rather than deal with it by paying for somebody to take it. But that's not fair to the people who have to pay for somebody to take their trash, that others are going to be violating the law. I just don't want to put us in a situation where there's a reluctance to enforce the ordinance because people view the fine as
Too excessive.
too excessive. Right?
Yeah.
Well, we can lower it. I mean, I didn't want it to be where people would abuse it because the fine was too cheap.
Well, I would assume that, and you would know better than I what the contract rate is for to have your trash picked up on a monthly basis. Do you
You do that, Jason?
I have a D's trash service pick it up and it's $15 a month.
have $15 a month?
That's cheap, isn't it? So,
Yeah. So if,
But you're talking, what, $180 a year?
yeah, but if you find somebody even $100, they're gonna be out of pocket
A year.
more than a year's worth, because the costs are gonna be about $200, so you know, $300.
Well, I mean, maybe that,
Not,
I
put
mean,
in there, not less than $100 for the first offense.
I'm fine with that. It's just, I didn't want someone just not respect just not,
Right.
come in here and only cost them $50 or something. I didn't realize that,
Even if they don't get a fine, the court costs, where each case is different what the cost would be, but the court costs would cost them money.
Yeah.
But every case has a fine with it, unless it's a sentence of incarceration. So I would say that if you had a $100 fine, that's gonna more than take up what it would cost them
So what
for
would that
years.
be, like 3,800 or?
Probably. And I don't deal with ordinance violations as much as I do with criminal cases, so it may be that their costs a little less. I can check that number if you want. But I guess what I was suggesting is if we make the initial amount in the $100 to $200 range, and then maybe bump it up for a second offense.
Yeah,
I'm fine with that, if everyone,
yeah.
it's just.
But leave the maximum
I
there.
appreciate you explaining that to me, so. I just wanted,
One of
has
those
some
teeth.
teeth in it.
Right. I'm just, with all, and this is legislation, basically, an ordinance is legislation. With all legislation, they're still enforced by human beings. And we don't wanna put it in such a way that people in the system that enforce it will wanna excuse conduct because they believe the sanction is too severe for the crime.
The only way they would get caught, Patrick, would be the neighbor probably,
Right. It would basically create a problem for someone.
then they would deny.
Or a deputy would have to be driving by and just see it
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and be willing to, or wanting to enforce that ordinance, be aware it was being burned and enforce it.
So we're gonna change to 100?
I'm just throwing that out there for discussion.
Would you all like that? 100?
Yeah, that's
I'm
fine.
fine with that.
And make a second offense minimum 500, is that?
Sounds fine. I mean,
Yeah.
they should, by then, no, definitely, they should be doing it, so. They gotta find warrants.
Okay, I'll get that done, and hopefully by next week we can get it on the agenda and get it passed and ready to enforce.
I think Jeff had a
And,
question.
the liquor also.
Well, we can take more time,
It'll take me some time to read that.
right, and there may be some discussion, and I'm willing to, kind of, as we did with this ordinance, come back again and discuss issues before we bring it up for a vote.
Yeah.
But I'll leave that at your discretion, to bring it back to my attention.
I'm getting some bills on Rusty Medicals and some dentist bills. My wife fills in at this dentist office sometimes, and some of the bonds for them to
Trash
get out,
carriers and
sometimes
Bulldogs be
are
proud
actually cheaper
Have that
than
one.
their,
Bulldogs
I don't know if
trying
this is
hard times
referencing
all that.
an inmate or not. I guess I would assume it is.
I think that's, yeah, 3 different ones that I've added up, and
That's cheap.
it,
I have a feeling I know who this is, I believe he's serving time, so he
So
would,
D-
would not have been
yeah,
on the bond.
he's
Is
not
that
gonna
why-
bond
is that
out, but
why-
anyhow, it, you know,
Pack Master?
and we don't wanna put
Think
the
so.
public in danger either, but
There
it's,
used to be a Dummets out of Joppa,
Yeah.
but he sold
I don't
it, and I
wanna
send a bill now to.
fix their teeth, you know, if they've got a
To,
$200 bond and they're
Jonesboro or
non-violent out there, of course, if they're non-violent,
Jones-
I mean, if they're
it used to be
violent, they're not gonna be able
called Dummets
to
Trust or-
bond out cheaper
Oh,
than that
these
anyhow, are they?
Jonesboro.
well,
I would say,
they work
and I
for
don't know who
Joppa,
those, I think I know who the top individual
Dummets.
is, I don't know
Yeah.
who those
Joe
two
has
are.
one
too.
but I guess he sold out.
Guess what
I
I'm,
kept the same
John
name.
Koneman, who's a jail administrator, does an excellent
Yeah.
job of staying on top of that.
and he has, I mean, I think you guys cut a
I
person
believe
loose just
it
to
was
save us
these
from
That
Right.
come
Doing a
across the,
high price
over
surgery
the
or
ridge there
something.
on Country Club.
And I believe he takes the
Was
same
that-
view on
And
dental.
I had a
Yeah.
pickup that wasn't tarped.
I'm just curious.
And
I-
that's
maybe I know
that
those
was that old
requirements.
guy that had
Oh, yeah, I know
on the
you got
right
a-
there, going west, he called me.
File
at
full
night.
of people to deal with.
I knew where they parked down
agree.
at
I think we need to
Jefferson
avoid
Place.
those
I just
spots.
went down there and that guy was
I'm
there.
just curious.
I told him, he said, I'll go out right now.
Thought maybe I'd ask your opinion on
Well,
that,
when
I
he got
guess.
there, the neighbor done picked it up, but, he said he wouldn't.
Has
And
John,
I haven't had any more complaints.
John Koneman say anything about it, or? was
No,
that-
he didn't. The only reason I knew that was just because of what I'm hearing, that
Right.
pulling all these, doing dental work on people that don't, they'd rather buy drugs as,
Oh, yeah,
Take care
I
of
mean,
the
that's
teeth,
a
you know,
large
that's-
part of it.
yeah. When, say somebody gets a speeding ticket or something, how's all those fees broken down? Do you know
Larry could explain exactly where, Larry Grace could explain exactly where they
where they go?
go, but, I think we looked at it not too long ago, $120 standard speeding ticket, someone just pays over the counter. I believe the county gets $30, $30 to $40.
Yeah, something like that.
And then there are different fees that go to the state, there's different fees that stay in Larry's office, and other, I think there's even a Resty Medical as part of it, I believe, it's $10. So it gets broken down about 10 different ways.
Yeah, I had that, but.
I was just curious.
Anything in progress on Mr. Rudolph's situation?
Other than we're going after him, that's,
Okay. I didn't know, we talked a while back, so I
Yeah.
didn't know. Anything you could do, because you said you had to start some stuff over there.
I don't know that, I think we'd probably wanna go into closed session and
Okay.
discuss that anymore.
Okay.
That's up to you, if you want to, I'm happy to.
Do you have some updated information then, or? No, I don't have.
I don't know, I probably do, I mean, I
Okay. Well, let's, go in closed session and,
discuss litigation.
litigation.
Yeah.
The signs I got out of the basement down here, there's a bunch of them 6-inch. I doubt if they'll ever take them back. There's blanks too, I doubt if they take. But them last ones you guys ordered, they should take them back, shouldn't they, or not?
I mean, I ordered exactly what I thought everybody wanted.
Mm-hmm. Well, you did, but except they shipped 6 instead of 8.
Do we have a order form or something, or?
Well, we should with Juanita over there when we got the bill. All right, so I need to get them back from you. Let me get a count so I can call them and have them to, so what they normally do is they'll pick them up when they deliver the others.
Correct. What we really need is the 24s and 30-inch long. And I've got a.
Are we all supposed to be 8 inches high now?
They're supposed to be 8 inches high with 6-inch letters.
So the 6-inch vinyl won't work on those six, can we get what we have just to work and we can order some more?
The vinyl works, oh,
Can you put the 6-inch vinyl on the 6-inch sign?
I
No.
don't know. I doubt it. I don't know. I've got everything working for us right now. Billy McDaniel and Art out there, got Sean. He said, as long as you'll furnish material, we'll make the signs.
Well, that was the deal the mayor made with me that time.
Same way I talked to him also, yeah. So,
So right now, we're not making any? 'cause
yes,
we
we'll
don't-
make them, because I had some already 8 inches.
Okay. So,
And yeah, he's making them right this minute.
good,
Good.
And I've already picked up about 10, probably already hung this morning.
good. What did you say, 24 and 30-inch?
Right, the lengths of them
Yeah.
by 8 inches tall.
Jess, are you having any problems with the post?
Well,
You need
there's a
some
couple
post.
down at Joppa, we need some posts.
What did we decide, did we ever talk to Glasgow about where he got those?
Well, no, I don't guess you guys did, I did, but Glasgow, I went out there just to see about getting some, he said, no, he said, I can't furnish them. So, well,
That's
I
been
thought
done.
maybe,
We'll see what we can do about that.
yeah, just a few is all we need, just a few.
Okay.
And I think, I'll gamble and try to drive them in there without all this commotion, you know, I think I know about where that one's broke off at down there on Riverview Road. If I can find the old stub, you know, I just go right
Yeah,
beside
if we
it.
can get 10 posts, then that'd do you for.
Yeah, 10 would be way plenty for now. And I noticed up 145, the state's been taking down some of their old signs, stop signs, and they've come up with wood signs.
Yeah, I noticed that
So-
too. Big square wood.
Right, which that's not a problem, what we can do with that, which I already got them, see, they're little L brackets, angle iron brackets, just screw them right to the side of the post, which that might even be better, I don't know, just as good or better. But now all the hardware you got me here a while back, that's all just right.
Good. Now, on these 24 and 30, how many of each would you like to get?
You know, we're gonna need a bunch,
Yeah.
cause I ain't even started on that side of 145.
20 of each or more than that?
I'd say 40 of each, 50 of each or whatever, you know, because we'll go through them sooner or later. Like over there in your neighborhood, I need to get a hold of you or somebody that knows the names of them roads. 'Cause on my GPS, it won't even show what they're supposed to be, I don't think, on
Yeah,
that
but
little
all-
subdivision.
About all of them are gone over in that area.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'll call her today.
What do you want me to do? Just bring them in and set them here in the office?
Once you do that, and then I'll count them, and then when I call her, I can get what's called a return receipt,
Right.
and then she'll pick them up when they come.
Right. I'll bring all, I mean, we don't have no use for them, I'll
Yeah.
bring every 6-inch I've got.
You gotta see if we can get some credit for
We'll
it.
get a
maybe.
credit.
Right. There's some old ones that, was down in the basement, you know, that
Yeah.
I thought was gonna be able to use, but
Yeah.
then not so. Anyway, I'll bring all the
Okay.
6-inch here in the office.
Okay. Well, I'll just come by tomorrow then and count them, and then call her,
All right,
and maybe by middle of next week, the signs will be in.
all right. But I've got quite a bit of material in there now, I mean, we're not hurting.
Okay.
I've got enough blanks in there, I've probably got 30 blanks out there right now that I'm fixing to take down to her, and Sean.
Jason, if they won't take that back, why don't we just use them? They'll get tore up. I guess.
Well, I think what he said is the vinyl, unless we bought a smaller thing of vinyl, that vinyl 6-inch on that 6-inch sign just wouldn't work.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I was hoping it would, or,
The 6-inch letters probably have a border around them, don't they?
that'd be the
I would
issue.
almost-
4-inch letter maybe,
Yeah.
6-inch sign, if I'm good.
Okay.
Well, did Glasgow say, where you got them posts?
No, I didn't ask him or nothing, I just asked if I could get a couple of them from him and told him what the deal was, and he said, well, I can't furnish them for 911.
What, you just need one post right now?
As far as I know, one, there might be 2 at the most down right now, but if you're gonna order some, just order a couple
I'll
extra.
try to, hey, he may just buy them local, I don't know who has those posts.
No, I wouldn't have it.
Somebody, Jones Steel or somebody, I don't know.
I bet it's some supplier around here, cause it's
I bet
regular
there's two.
sign post, with
Yeah.
the holes in where you.
That's right.
They've
And let me say this, what'd be wrong with us using wood posts like the state's using?
Just get them in the ground, didn't they?
I don't think it'd be an issue.
That just get them in the ground, with steel posts, we can drive them in.
Yeah.
But, and you don't take up near the room, and post hole digger, you could do a little damage to
Yeah.
wires or whatever, whatever you got.
I don't have
is
my
fine
book.
with me.
Do you have Glasgow's number, and I'll just call him?
Yeah.
You call him, and
I'll let you go. Okay, you wanna talk to him?
yeah,
It's called.
Put it to your ear, that's how you use them.
hey, there's no invention, man. Hey, Larry,